In this class, we will learn about the types of the formal languages. Is one of the most important topic, and the formal introduction it is required before learning about the automata. So, before learning about the automata, there are some categories of the formal languages for there, and we need to learn about that formal languages, and then we'll move into the automata. You can see the normal definition of a formal language as a collection of string of symbols along with a finite set of rules. So every language will follow their set of rules. So here you are having a set of rules that are specific to its is called it as a formal languages. So whenever we are going to be representing any formal, we are having so many categories of there are 4 categories of formal languages over there. Whenever you are representing any formal language, so you need to remember that each and every formal language will follow a set of rules having symbols, strings that are all common related to the particular formal language. They will follow this set of rules and it will form a language that you will call it as a formal language. So whenever we are going to be defining the formal language, you can see these 2 points we are observing. A formal language should have the proper representation of alphabets. Should have the proper representation of the alphabets. Means whenever you are deciding about any formal language or any language, you need to say that the strings represented on the language. Means without specifying the alphabet, you cannot start. Without specifying the alphabet, you cannot start of designing the language. So you need to say that whether the particular input alphabets you are having A comma B, or you are having 0 comma 1, or you are having any other elements like 1 comma 2, like this. Whatever the input alphabets are there, that input alphabets you need to represent. And secondly, you need to say that there should be some grammar. So the grammar, how many grammars are there, how to represent it all, that we are going to be learning now. And next, you need to design a proper machine or a proper model which it needs to recognize the particular model. So this is the first one. Means a machine, a formal language should have the proper representation of the alphabets, should have the proper representation of a grammar, should have the proper a model, a good model to recognize the specific language. This is the first one. And second, it should have a proper set of rules, and you should have the restrictions to form the particular string. You should have the proper restriction to form the particular string. The same thing we learned in the previous classes. Whenever you are learning about the formal languages, the syntax representation of W slash something about W, that's what the representation rule we are specifying here. So the main important thing, whenever you are generating or whenever you are creating a formal languages, the formal language representation should have the proper representation of the alphabets, grammar and a model, and you should have a set of rules and restrictions. So by that we are going to be representing any of the formal language. So these 2 points you need to remember. Any formal language, so whatever the formal language you are representing, each and every formal language we are going to be defining will indicate the 2 kinds of devices. You are having 2 kinds of devices. The first one, generating device, or that you will call it as a grammar, and second you are going to be calling it as a accepting device. So you are having 2 representation. First one ending generating device or a generating grammar, that you will call it as a formal grammar. Generating device means a finite set of rules used to generate the string. So you are having so many grammars are there that we are going to be learning, and that particular grammar need to generate it. And second, accepting devices or the automation, the mathematical representation of the particular formal language. Means we'll go with an example. Let us see, if suppose I am writing some program on C language. So whenever you are writing the C programming language, there are some set of rules are defined to represent the input, as well as to write the functions, as well as to show how to get the output. Means whatever the keywords they represented in the C programming language, only the particular C programming language inputs only you need to give. Without if suppose instead of representing printf, I am giving cin, or I am giving system.out.println, like that. So the particular generating device or the formal grammar I am designing for the C programming. So that's the first one, means I need to design. And second thing, I need to accept, means that you are going to be compiling it. After completion of everything, I'm checking that whether whatever the program I have written in C program, whether it is correct or not, I can able to get the result or not. Means it has to accept the input, whatever the representation I have given. Means that you'll call it as an accepting device. Means each and every formal language, whatever we are defining, that formal language can be represented by using the two devices. Each and every formal language has to maintain one grammar, and every formal language need to decide accepting, means whether the particular input is true or the particular input is false, means whether it is accepted or whether it is not accepted, whether it is accepted or whether it is not accepted. So the formal language representation acceptance, you are going to be representing some mathematical representation, like you're taking some initial step and followed by some input representation and followed by the final step. If this is the mathematical representation of the particular thing, I am assigning some string number states 1 and 2, and based upon the input I am representing, I am going to be saying that whether the particular input is accepted or not. So that's what the main important things you need to remember. So whenever we are going to be considering the different kinds of the formal languages, so totally you are having 4 kinds of formal languages. Type 0, it is divided based upon the complexity of the machines. So the first one is type 0, that you can call it as an recursively enumerable language. That's the first one. Second, type 1, context sensitive language. Third one, context free language. That's the type 2. And type 3, regular language. So this is call it as an regular language. So whenever we are going to be defining this, so you are saying that, so for every language you are having, for every language we are going to be defining a generating device. You are going to be generating a device. I am having type 0, having type 1, type 2 and type 3. So type 0, that language you will call it as an recursively enumerable language. So the recursively enumerable language is using a grammar called recursively enumerable grammar. So the first thing, REL, recursively enumerable language, that is designed, or that grammar you are using here, it is the recursively enumerable grammar. So when coming to the type 1, you are going to be using it as a context sensitive language, that you will call it as an CSL. So context sensitive language can be generated by using a grammar called context sensitive grammar, by using a grammar called context sensitive grammar. When coming to type 3, you are having context free language. The context free language can be generated by using a string called context free grammar. Context free grammar. When coming to type 3, you are having a regular language. that you'll call it as an RL. The regular language can be defined by using a grammar called regular grammar. Means each and every language will follow a specific grammar to implement the or to generate the particular language. So that's the saying I'm having English. So the formation of an English will followed by English grammar. I'm having Telugu. The Telugu formation of the grammar is different. I'm having Hindi. So the Hindi formation of the particular grammar is different. So each and every, based upon the language we are using, we are going to be generating the grammar. So whatever the language you are using, so whenever you are representing any language, the language can be generated by using a grammar. This is very, very, very important thing. So whenever you are going for any of the examination, they will ask you the subset of this and the language and the grammar we are going to be following. And secondly, accepting devices. So type 0 REL used in recursively enumerable language, and it is going to be accepted by using a machine called Turing machine. So the first type 0 grammar, the first one and second one. So you need to define the grammar and you need to identify the accepting devices. The accepting devices of type 0 REL recursively enumerable language is Turing machine. The type 1, the accepting language of context sensitive language is linear bounded automata. And type 2, context free language, the accepted representation of context free language is push down automata. The accepted representation of regular language is finite automata. So we are learning from the beginning because it is from the complexity. The first highest complexity is recursively enumerable, and next afterwards context sensitive, and next it is context free, and at least one is regular language. So the first we are learning about the finite automata, and then we are learning about the push down automata, and then we are learning about the linear bounded automata, and final you are learning about the Turing machines. So this is the way of hierarchy you are going to be using. So we are learning about the type 3 and type 2 and type 1, and at final we are going to be using type 0 representation. This is the way we are going to be learning about the each and every normal languages. So Chomsky normal form, you can see the hierarchy. The hierarchy you are using the first one, we are going to be the type 3, and you are using type 2, you are using 1, and type 0. So regular language, context free language, context sensitive language, and recursively enumerable language. So this is the hierarchies. Chomsky hierarchy is very, very important. So by using this hierarchy, we are going to be representing the elements. So you can see the traditional way of representing the hierarchy. The regular language, you're going to be having grammar, and you are going to be generating the automata, acceptors. So regular, you can split like this. Regular language, you are going to be using the finite state automata. Context free language, you are using the push down automata. Context sensitive language, you are using the linear bounded automata. And recursively enumerable language, you are going to be using the Turing machines. This is the way how you are going to be representing the hierarchy of the complexity of the grammars, the formal way of representing the grammars. So you can see the accepting power. The accepting power means who will accept the particular input they are going to be representing. Whenever you are going to be accepting, normally the accepting power you can call it as the number of languages. You can say the number of languages accepted by an automata. The number of languages accepted by an automata. Accepted by an automata means the number of ways number of ways, in the number of languages. You can see the Turing machine. The first hierarchy is Turing machine. Turing machine can accept linear bounded automata, push down automata, and finite automata. Means these are all the subsets. So Turing machine can accept means it is having the power. It can, along with the recursively enumerable languages, it also can accept the other elements, other finite automatas, that will call it as a linear bounded automata. And also you can represent the finite automata, you can find out the push down automata. That's the first one. When coming to the linear bounded automata, the linear bounded automata can accept push down automata as well as the finite automata, but it cannot identify the Turing machine. This is very, very important. Whenever you are going for any of the competitive examination, they will ask you linear bounded automata can identify the strings in Turing machine. So they will ask whether it is true or not. It's a false. So means linear bounded automata can accept the push down automata as well as the finite automata. When coming to the push down automata can also accept the finite automata, but it cannot accept linear bounded automata as well as the Turing machines. The acceptance power of the particular language, the hierarchy of representing this is very, very, very important. You are going to be taking the Turing machine first. Turing machine can accept linear bounded automata, and it can accept push down automata, and it can accept the finite automata. And coming to the next class, we will start with the first method, the power of the least power. When coming to the complexity, the first you are having the finite automata. We'll discuss about the finite automata and where we are using this finite automata, means that there are some applications of the finite automata. There are different ways of representing the finite automata, and then we are going to be learning about some of the examples related to the finite automata. The finite automata means you are using the regular languages. So you need to say that what is regular language and what is not a regular language. Means what is regular language, how to represent the regular language, and what is non-regular, regular and non-regular. That we are going to be discussing in the next class. So if you are having any queries related to this, so you can drop the comment section, so I will reply in the comment section. Otherwise you can mail me academiclover@gmail.com. Thank you.